Ambitious, blowhard and dimwit. Nice description.
Constable, it's Sherlock Holmes. I'd like to survey the scene.
There's a murder inquiry hereabouts. You know Inspector Lestrade don't tolerate intruders at our investigations.
Well, he must do, as we have some kind of permission.
You can read, can't you, Roach? Lestrade has requested my assistance.
No need to be snide, Mr. Holmes. I'm just following orders.
Following orders, the last refuge of the immoral and the inept.
What's that?
Your predilections notwithstanding, I will examine the scene, Constable.
I don't like interference, Mr. Holmes. I'll be keeping an eye on you. Might try to make me look bad.
That wouldn't be difficult, but I have better things to do. I'm sure Lestrade would be stupefied if you've discovered anything of interest.
I've applied my eagle eye to the area. There's nothing here.
Better light might reveal more, and the skills of the investigator are not unimportant.
Precisely why I'm on the case. Best man for the job. I know a crime when I see it.
Very sly. But I doubt your vigilance will be rewarded.
Who's to say? I'll be pushing off soon for my tea.
What can you tell me about the crime, Constable?
Why Lestrade needs you is beyond me. Seems like you're always begging information from us.
As you haven't solved the case, perhaps you might humour the inspector and simply answer the question?
The victim was shot at close range by an unknown assailant. Probably happened nearby and recently. The body ended up in the river. A wherryman fished it out. That's it.
Where might I find the wherryman?
Body's name is Needham. Jesse Needham. Lives off the Aldgate High Street. 6 Half Moon Passage. If you're planning a visit, consider a firearm. The inspector always takes a pistol east of Bishopsgate.
It is very foggy right here. I'm amazed that you can actually see these stains, but then again, it is Holmes.
Permission or no, Mr. Holmes. You've got no use for that hook. Don't mess with it. It weren't used to retrieve the body.
Ismail Pasha's gift looks hauntingly mysterious in this light.
And you can't see the damage wreaked by coal dust and the climate. A decade in England has mutilated the obelisk more than 3 millennia in Egypt. It's sickening.
The dolt called me an intruder. Can you credit it?
He's either ignorant or intentionally insulting.
A little of both. The moronic and the abusive are evenly matched in his character. Let's be off, Watson. I didn't really want to be here anyway.
We came here for good reasons, Holmes. Official rudeness or incompetence does not diminish their validity.
Our Constable Roach is a congenital idiot, Watson.
A man with his limitations should find another line of work.
I guarantee what he has found barren will bear fruit for us, but not now. Do you recall the great Goethe's dying words, Watson?
Regrettably, my German is non-existent, Holmes.
Mehr Licht, he said. More light. We have a similar need.
Less official surveillance might serve a similar purpose.
In this light, I can't do much better than the cretinous constable.
You could do better on hearsay. But I'm sorry I didn't bring the bullseye.
Never mind, I've got mine. But I don't plan on doing his job for him. Another time will suit us better.
Well, I would comment on Holmes mentioning that he actually has his bull light on him. But we actually have passed a plot point where we actually need it. Never mind. It's good that he actually acknowledged it, though. I don't think we can do much more here.
An unsupervised pass with the bullseye would prove more enlightening.
You're right, Watson. I'm not about to do Roach's job for him. And for that helpful reminder, I'll excuse your terrible pun.
I wonder. Oh no, I thought we might be able to offer these around, but we can't. Anyway, let's go and poke this body.
Matron, we are going to the morgue.
My register requires an entry concerning the purpose of your intrusion.
We are here to speak to Dr. McCabe in his capacity as principal officer of the coroner's inquest. Doctor, did your examination reveal anything else of interest?
Well, his lungs were in deplorable shape. Tobacco, I should think. Alcohol had begun to ravage his liver and kidneys. I would characterize his general condition as dilapidated.
Who are we talking about here?
I'd like to examine Sir Hubert's body again.
He's in number 2, Mr. Holmes, keeping cool.
Nice, so it looks like he was shot in the face.
Anything of significance, Watson?
Lestrade must have been desperate to call. How are even you to identify the unidentifiable?
My vanity believes he considers me to be the highest court of appeal in detection, but more likely I am his last resort. Observations, Doctor.
Undernourished, reasonably well-formed, white male, age between 30 and 40. No obvious physical abnormalities. Nicely shaped hands, showing no recent history of manual labour.
A description that might fit 200,000 men in Greater London.
You would add?
He was right-handed, an occasional painter, oils I think, suffered from dandruff and smoked heavily.
I see the ink on his index finger and paint under his nails. The dandruff is obvious, but I see no nicotine stains on his fingers.
Nor do I. Note the discoloration around what remains of his upper lip. That is not a powder burn. I assume he used a holder, or perhaps he smoked a pipe.
So this man is a painter. Is this our friend Pratt? We're not going to be able to do much without permission.
Lestrade's missive suggests a problem of identification. Is it real or apparent?
Very real. Extremely difficult case from his point of view.
We must stop meeting like this, Dr. McCabe.
I'd prefer a chinwag at my local over a pint and game of darts, but I doubt that's quite in your line.
You might be surprised. Inspector Lestrade has asked me to help identify the body that was pulled from the Thames. Is he on the slab?
I wish Lestrade had informed me of his intention. You know my practice in these matters.
Well, in the first game, Holmes did indeed drink a pint and play some darts, so I wouldn't put it too far out there.
What can you tell me about this victim's cause of death?
The formal cause was a massive cerebral hemorrhage. The efficient cause were bullets of a large caliber fired from point-blank range.
Drowning and suicide can be dismissed then. I've been experimenting with ballistics. You have the bullets?
Useless fragments. I disposed of them. The large pieces must have passed through the cavernous exit wound.
Might I examine the body?
I know your methods, Mr. Holmes. Observation is your watchword.
Its corollary is that without knowledge, observation and deductions are worth nothing. Currently, I have very little knowledge. I hope to amend the deficiency.
Okay, I keep getting very premature when it comes to examining the body.
Could I see the victim's effects?
You know where I keep them, and it's only the clothes. He came in without shoes, and his pockets were empty.
Indeed. Most peculiar. Most interesting. One bullet would certainly have done the job, Doctor. Thoughts?
The killer was a vicious psychopath.
Likely, but incomplete, I think.
If you say so. My interests are with the victim. Yours reside in the murderer. I prefer my work.
I'll sign for the hat, Doctor. I'd like to take it with me.
Okay, let's have a look now. Smell? Oh yes, we smelt the last body as well, I believe. Oh. Well, it looks like we've cracked this case. So we've uncovered his arse, and now we can smell. Lovely. Okay, so we already... Well, the second examination seemed to be the same as just looking at the body.
Why do you think the killer used 2 bullets, Watson?
An accident or fluke. There may be no cogent reason whatsoever.
Nonsense. It was intentional. He wished to complicate identification of the victim, but the killer also told us about himself. He wanted to punish as he killed. Why, I wonder?
That's grotesque, Holmes. Perhaps incompetence was the reason, or panic. You always suspect the worst of people.
It is a matter of no small regret, Watson, that many of my low, mean-spirited suspicions turn out to be well-founded. A highly unusual, if not unique design. Comments, Doctor?
I will defer to your judgment, Holmes. I can't recall seeing anything like it in your monograph on tattoos and scarification.
I have some thoughts, but they can wait. What do you make of the victim's sodden garments, Watson?
Hardly a careful dresser. An office worker, I should think. Insurance, perhaps, or a banking clerk.
Excellent, Doctor. But what of his tie?
What tie?
Exactly, Watson. Where is his tie? Now, what do you make of the hat?
An extravagance, given his other clothing. Perhaps it reflects his ambition.
Interesting speculation, Doctor, but wrong. The hat does not belong to the victim. I believe it belongs to the man who killed him.
You will clarify that convoluted hypothesis at some later time, I hope.
Dr. McCabe, please inform me if your examinations divulge anything of further interest.
I will indeed, Mr. Holmes, and vice versa, please.
You may depend upon it. Have you ever seen a tattoo like this one, Doctor?
Never. Not the usual subject matter, anchors, lions, dragons and such.
Indeed, a delicate Tudor rose, the emblem of England. A unique design, colours and placement, overall quite remarkable. He wears the rose of youth upon him, the bard says.
I've always been partial to Antony and Cleopatra.
Has anybody come to view this victim, or any of your cases?
No recent visitors, Mr. Holmes. Not many seem to have your interest in the subject.
Okay, let's go and speak to the worry man. I'm guessing that he's keeping an eye on his chest just here.
Tell me about the corpse you pulled from the river, won't you?
I told the old Bill what I knowed. I was sculling near the Whitehall steps when I heard pistol shots. A little later I comes across a fresh stiff floating face down. I put one and one together, hauled him up from the Needle and waited for a copper.
These steps are a good bit west of the Needle, and the tide was running out to sea. You were lucky to catch up with the body.
If you've seen the body, you got an odd notion of luck. The police were satisfied.
Have you done army service, Needham?
I wouldn't say no to the Queen's shilling, but I never fancied work on land.
The Navy, then? You were a sailor?
Never. Bunch of ponces in uniform, couldn't navigate a drainage ditch. Seen 'em struggle in the Deptford Reach, just running with the tide.
Forget the fable you told the police. I think you witnessed a crime on the embankment.
I saw naught.
Nonsense. You were close by. With no experience of small arms, you identified pistol shots. Whitehall is too distant to hear distinctly, even over water, and from there you'd never catch up to a body moving on the tide.
That's just talk. You know what they say, talk is cheap.
It depends on the subject and the speaker. The police might find my argument pure gold.
Tin more like, or I don't know, P.C. Roach and Inspector Lestrade.
You have a point. Strangely, the corpse you found had no personal effects. Perhaps some of them found their way here.
You'll never know. Got no rights to snoop. Man's home's his castle.
If you'd prefer, I can bring back a warrant and a load of policemen.
No need for that. I'm guilty of nothing. I didn't shoot the bloke. I kept him from going to sea.
And took a souvenir from the body, Mr. Needham? A remembrance of your good deed?
Go ahead. See what you can find. Nothing worth sixpence, or I'm related to the Queen.
Tell me why you took the corpse's shoes. They're obviously too small for you.
Things from the river are like gifts, and a poor man can't afford an exact fit. As he'd lost the need for 'em, I'd figured to lighten his load as he passed over.
Very kind of you, I'm sure. I wonder if they exhaust the items you relieved him of.
Nice guy. Let's go and have a look in his chest.
Would you mess about with the quality's possessions? Poor man's got no rights.
I'm agog at the items you rescued from the river. True objet trouvé.
Okay, we've already seen that description.
It's soaked through, Holmes. No good for use or ornament, and it will drench your pockets.
I suppose I can live without it. That tie belongs to the victim. What else of his personal property did you steal? A wallet, perhaps?
What's he care about a useless garment or anything from this world? He's left it. You can't steal from a dead man. No use for money, can't spend it, wouldn't miss it.
Were you a barrister in a previous life, or a philosopher? Maybe you learned that litany from Gaffer Hexam. Don't split hairs with me. Produce what you lifted, or face incarceration.
Search the place, toss it, do your worst, you'll find naught else.
When did you lose your family, Needham?
My missus and daughter died by cholera. I've been alone these 20 years.
I'm sorry. A solitary life is hard. Have you noticed, Doctor, that the East End reduces life to basics?
If you mean it appears a mere struggle for survival, Holmes, I do.
Hobbes was right, I fear. Existence on these terms is solitary, nasty, brutish, and short. I would have expected a hidey-hole somewhere, but I don't spy one.
A place to conceal small objects, as might come from corpses?
Got it in one.
The room is so vulnerable and insecure. He may fear leaving anything valuable behind, even hidden away.
What about these barrels? Surely he could put things in them.
You are a thief, Needham. British justice takes a dim view of robbing the dead.
Get stuffed. I found them items.
If you compel me, I'll have you stripped and searched.
Easy now, there was little enough. A watch and chain, half a crown and 3 pennies.
Unless you'd prefer a cell at Pentonville, it had better be. What you took is of less interest to me than what you know. I mean you no harm, but I intend to know all that you know about this crime.
How do I know you'll play straight with me?
You have my word.
A sign of good faith would be more convincing.
How about the fact that we haven't dragged you down to this police station just yet? I mean, I know this was set in the Victorian times, so I'm not exactly sure what the law is in regards to pilfering from dead bodies. I can't imagine it would be seen in a good light.
Keep the things you found, Needham. I can't approve your action, but I won't condemn it either.
That's friendly, I think. Tar.
I'd like you to return with us to the embankment. Will you do that?
I've given up everything I have.
I think not. I want to hear exactly what you witnessed, at the Needle, in situ.
Maybe I'll do better with the coppers.
You may think so. I couldn't comment. I promise to be fair.
If there's no other way, I'll go. You're a gentleman until you prove yourself otherwise. We can take my wherry.